Hello, welcome to Sear Sauté with Chef Clay. I'm your host, Chef Clay. Today we're going to make a nice seafood dinner, 3 courses with a nice dessert. My name is Chef Clay. I'm a chef from West Texas, and what I do is personal chef work. What I do is I go inside people's homes with my own tools and equipment and basically create a 4-star menu and serve it to you, and then clean up and take off. It's a beautiful job. It's a dream career, and I can't wait to show you all the skills that I've learned throughout the years. It's 5 years of culinary, 5 years of personal chef work, but also 20 plus years in the culinary business. So this is what I've learned. This is also a kudos to all the chefs that have helped me in my journey through this culinary journey. I want to give a shout out to all the chefs that from different restaurants that helped me grow, all the other cooks next to me that helped me figure out each plate and send it off. So what I got for you today is a seafood explosion of flavor, okay? So it's bacon wrapped shrimp stuffed with jalapenos and cheese, as well as a lobster stuffed with a version of Oysters Rockefeller that I stuff it with. It makes the lobster a lot more delicate. All right, let's get started on this bacon wrapped shrimp appetizer. First, what I want you to see here, we got the tiger shrimp. Basically, they're about 16-20. That's the 16-20 means that there's 16 or 20, about 16 or 20 shrimp in a pound. So that's the size of these shrimps. You can see what I did. I cut the back side of it to open it up. That allows you to open it up and take out the veins, but also gives you space to stuff it. You're gonna put cheese and jalapenos in there. So I got a couple right here. Let's go ahead and dice up some jalapenos. So we got jalapenos. What I'm gonna do, cut the ends off. And then to get into those seeds, because that's what's gonna be the most punch, we just want the flavor from the jalapeno. So we're gonna take those seeds out, take the veins out. And then we're gonna give it a little like julienne cut, so we have some long strips to put in. And then some Gouda cheese. Oh, I love the smell of good cheese. Here we go. So I'm gonna cut like a little sliver here. Cut the rind off. And then do a little bit julienne cuts that I'm gonna stuff with the jalapenos. All right, so you see here I have nice julienne cuts. We got my tiger shrimp. And lastly, what we're gonna wrap this is with some bacon. The bacon strips usually come pretty long, so the shrimps are a little bit small, so I would cut about 1 inch off of one end of the bacon so that you have the right amount of bacon for this dish. So let's start off with the shrimp. You're gonna put the tail end to your right, put cheese in first, and then a strip of jalapenos. So you have it like that, and you can pinch it in the head, the tail will be dangling. I'm showing you because I've done this 100 times, and this is the easiest way to do it. I'm sure you do jalapenos or different bacon wrap items. Check this out. The little flap, keep it going so it's underneath, and then it catches. But the main part of it is not to overlap. If you go around, try to make it tight, pull the bacon, go around, and make that real tight. Whoa, flying bacon, yummy. And at the end of it, give it a little cut with your utility knife. All right, so here we are. If you see it right here, bacon wrapped shrimp all the way around. Not too much not too much bacon, so that you'll get a crispy and nice, good flavor. Jalapenos and cheese stay inside. So we'll go ahead and do that with about 6 here for an appetizer for 2 people. Yeah, so as a personal chef in El Paso, Texas, where I'm from, I basically do this inside your home. So what I'm teaching you on this program right here is exactly what I do inside people's homes. It's something that I like to tell chefs or cooks about. Personal chef work is another form of being a chef. You're not stuck inside of a kitchen. You're not being directed by somebody else. It's your culinary talent against your client. You know what I mean? Depending on what their dietary needs are, depending on what their preferences on food. It's a challenge in different ways, but it's also it gives you freedom as a chef. You know, like you can pick your own recipes. You can pick your own groceries. Go to the store and pick your own quality groceries. It's a fulfilling job because also it was a dream of mine. When I was younger, I went to culinary school because my family loved me enough to say, "Hey, Clay, you know what? You like to cook. You should go to college." And I was like, "Sure, buddy." And luckily, I want to give a shout out to my uncle Freddie. He said, "Yeah, come stay with me in Arizona while you go to culinary school." So it all makes sense. You know what I mean? I went to culinary school and figured it all out. I love cooking. I got the skills. And now what am I going to do in the real world, right? Well, let me tell you, being a chef takes a lot of experience. So I worked in the restaurant business for a while and then realized that, you know, there's a ceiling to how much money you can make and your stress level is through the roof sometimes. So shout out to everybody in the kitchen right now because I know it's not easy. But what I did, I figured out, luckily, from experience, that there's a business called personal chef work or private chef work. And basically you're catering to one family, but as their own private personal chef. And there's families out there that actually need this service. Somebody might say, "Oh, this is so expensive." No way, not for me. It's needed, trust me. There's families out there that have dietary needs. There's families out there that basically work and there's not enough time in the house to actually, you know, cook a nice meal for their family. And if they do have time to cook for their family, they're actually, you know, cooking and not spending time asking about their day and asking about different things about what's going on in their life. So that's where I step in, and I'm blessed enough to help them cook. I grocery shop for them, and then add that value by them sitting down and enjoying their company of their family and talking. And then, you know, I'm fulfilled as a chef, you know, so it's one of those things that I'm just blessed to do. So this is one of my favorite recipes that I like to do. It's called bacon wrapped shrimp. It was taught to me at a restaurant by a gentleman named Chef Mario, and I probably did like maybe 1,000 of these. But the thing is like after the experience of doing 1,000 of them, you realize the flavor, you realize the texture, you realize what makes it good. You know what I mean? And then you get to, you know, make your own derivatives of like the sauce. You know, you don't have to make the sauce the chef made. You can make your own sauce. And what flavors do you like and stuff like that? What textures do you like? Me personally, I like everything. You know, I'm a simple guy when it comes to what I eat. I like pizza. But the thing is, as a chef, when I first started, it's all about flavor. Flavor is my number one thing. I'm really getting into presentation and, you know, making it appealing to the eyes and things like that. But flavor is number one. I really believe when somebody says, "Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good," or they just make that face and it's like, you know, they close their eyes and, you know, you just know the difference between when somebody likes their food and they actually love their food. So that's my goal. Every time that I cook food, I'm interested in seeing that face of somebody who's like, "Wow, that's good." And you notice, as a chef, you notice. All right, guys, hear that sizzle? That's the bacon in the hot pan. So we're gonna season up that bacon just a little bit of salt, just a little bit of pepper. We're gonna put more paprika. And just a little bit of cayenne. And garlic. Normally, sometimes you can make your own, you know, blackened spices and stuff like that. I usually kind of mix it all together, but this way you can see and remember what we have to offer for this to make it spicy. We have salt, pepper, right? The pepper and the cayenne are going to be on the spicier sides of things, and the mid spice is the garlic, and then you have smoked paprika, which is more of just the pepper flavor. It gives it more boldness, and then the salt, of course. So we're going to saute it. Get it good on one side, and then we're gonna flip it over and finish it off in the oven, okay? But in the meantime, what we're doing is we're gonna make the sauce for that. I call it a lemon marmalade sauce because the texture, like in a marmalade, basically is the zest. Well, the texture in this is gonna be onions. So I diced up an onion, and then I have some garlic, and we're gonna use the same spices, as well as a little bit of chicken stock, some wine, butter, and some red pepper. So to start off, basically we're gonna get some butter. Butter. And lastly, lemons too. That's gonna be the lemon marmalade sauce. This is gonna be the main flavor for the sauce. So we got butter melting. All right, so nice and smoky. You can see that there's a little bit of color on the back, so we're gonna turn them over. We're not gonna cook them through on the saute part of it. We're actually just gonna we're creating the crust. We're cooking the bacon so that it stiffens up, and then it kind of forms around the shrimp, but it's not gonna cook through all the way. Season it again. And also the seasoning is coloring. It gives it a nice red look to it. So you want to kind of evenly coat the whole shrimp. Give it good flavor. All right. Got that butter nice and toasty. I'm gonna put some onions. And then garlic. So if that's a cup of onions, I'm just gonna put like a teaspoon of garlic. And all this is gonna cook down together, so we're gonna add the red pepper at this moment. Season it up with some salt, and the pepper, already got garlic, just paprika on this one. Paprika and the red pepper. All right, so now that they're nice and cooked on both sides, I'm gonna put them in the oven. Right here, got that breaking down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sweat the onions, and once the moisture evaporates, it's gonna start caramelizing a little bit, and then we're gonna deglaze with some white wine. Once that breaks down, we're gonna add in the lemon, and then let that reduce by half. And then once that gets to that point, we're gonna add in some honey for sweetness. So remember, you wanna balance out the flavor. It's gotta be salt, sweet, fat, and then a little bit of acid, okay? So the acid comes from the lemons. So what we're gonna do is just a minute while it cooks. And then just a dash of wine for deglazing. So right now, as this reduces, I'm just gonna cut up a little bit of garnish for the plate. So it's gonna be the shrimp, which is almost like a dark red brownish tint, as well as the little bit of pink from it. And then the sauce will be like a dark yellow to golden color with the white onions kind of gleaming. So I like to put some herbs. These are microgreens for garnish. And then what I'm gonna do is do a little small dice of red bell peppers. And then that's gonna add a little bit more color to the plate and make things a little brighter, because you eat with your eyes before you eat with your mouth. All right, so you can see like the moisture is already almost out. That's the alcohol evaporating. And now we're gonna hit it with a little bit of lemons. Not the seeds though, so kind of make a little filter with your fingers. Let the juice go through your fingers. Maybe 1 or 2 seeds goes in, but not all of them. And then as far as the temperature of the flame or the flat top, I have it about 8. So it's got a good nice simmer to it. As soon as I get all these lemons in there, I'll turn it down so that it simmers and then melts all those flavors together. All right, so we're at 8. I'm gonna go down to 6. Now let's go 5. So that's about medium, okay? So let it reduce at about a medium. Give it about a minute and then taste it, because you want to see where it's at this point. You don't want to finish the dish with the sweetness before you actually see what the flavor of the savoriness of it first, okay? So we'll just give it that a minute and let that break down. On the plate. Just gonna check the shrimp in the oven. So, of course, when you're cooking shrimp or any protein, you know, it's good to have a thermometer. You temp your seafood, it's got to be like 160, you know what I mean? So, what I have right now, I'm sorry, 160. Well, your temperature of your fish does not need to exceed 145. On my shrimp right there, it's in the oven. It has the bacon, the stuffing and everything. So you got to take into account everything that's cooking, not just the shrimp. Our sauce is breaking down, so looks almost there. So like you can tell the thickness of the sauce by as you move it and it falls. Most of the moisture is almost gone on that. So this is the perfect time to add the honey. So the honey is gonna add sweetness, but it's also gonna thicken it up. So that it kind of gives it the sugar, is gonna help it break down, make a thick sauce. And if you're a culinarian, yes, with the wine, garlic, onions, and the lemon, it can be a gastrique. You can call this a gastrique sauce because you're breaking it down all the way down with the acid flavors. This sauce itself is going to be real acidic, spicy, sweet, and then that shrimp's going to have the savory, so it's going to be real balanced in flavor. Let's go ahead and do the plate up. Let's see how the shrimp looks. All right, guys, you can see I pull these shrimp out of the oven. What happens is the bacon tightens up on the shrimp as well as the inside. The cheese is oozing out, caramelizing on that hot pan. So there's a lot of good flavor right there on that pan. Just need to finish this sauce. It's breaking down. It's also getting a little thick from the sugars and the honey. Last thing, we're gonna put a little more fat in there. Drop a cold pat of butter and just swirl it in. All right, folks, so now we got this sauce breaking down. It's nice and thick. We're gonna go ahead and put it right in the middle of the plate. All right. And then shrimps. So this is an appetizer portion. Usually I give them about 3. So we're gonna do 2 people's portions on one plate here, okay? So we got 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay. For garnish, we have some microgreens right in the middle. As well as I'm gonna put a little lemon. Yeah, and then we diced up those red bell peppers, so just goes all the way around. And like I said, it's for color. You want it to pop, okay? Because you eat with your eyes before you eat with your mouth. So we have bacon wrapped shrimp, stuffed appetizer, lemon marmalade sauce on the bottom, and bon appetit. And then next, what we're gonna do is a stuffed lobster. So we go from appetizer portion of shrimp to a full main portion of lobster. That's gonna be a really nice dish because I'm gonna roast that. Like normally, traditionally, you probably have had that at the restaurant where you roast it and it comes to you on the shell. Well, I'm gonna cook it 75% just like that. I'm gonna cut it up, put it back in the shell, and when you eat it at the table, you're gonna eat it with a fork right out of the shell. I'm telling you, it's gonna explode in your mouth. You have no idea. Be right back. All right, so for the next dish, like I said, we're gonna have a stuffed lobster. The stuffed lobster, I just like to start off by doing a little bit of cutting on the garnish. We're gonna do some fresh parsley here. I'm gonna put the parsley in the actual cream sauce, but also as for garnish. The parsley is kind of weird. When I was younger, I was like, why is this on the plate? And then my mom would say, chew it up. It makes your breath smell good. I'm like, all right, cool. But that is not the case here. Parsley is an herb and it really gives an earthy flavor, but also like that greenness pops, makes the plate pop. And for this dish, I really think that it needs it because it has the pink from the lobster. It has the creaminess, which is white, and then you got red from the red onions and bell peppers. So it's a great little garnish as well as added flavor and freshness. All right, this next part, before I get into the lobster, another part of the plate is where I put some crostinis. So you get your nice little baguette. This is from Whole Foods. This is a really good baguette here. So just at a bias cut, go at an angle. We just need 4, 2, 4. Perfect. All right. I'm gonna set those on a tray here, right? Just put 1 sliver of, 1 pat of butter on each one. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it helps make the bread like golden, gives it that golden crust. So make sure to put some oil or put some butter, get that bread nice and golden, and then season it up. Salt, pepper, and paprika. We're always doing color, but it has extra flavor added. A little parsley also. Okay, and then so we're gonna throw that in the oven. It's only gonna take like 2 or 3 minutes, guys. So don't forget about it, okay? And then after we get rid of that is the lobster. All right, guys. Everybody's intimidated by a lobster. People don't even grill this lobster because they're intimidated by a lobster shell. Please don't be intimidated by a lobster shell. Lobster tail. So right here is a lobster tail. It's a warm water lobster tail. You could tell because of the color. It's nice and light and it has those little small pigments on it. This is a beautiful lobster. I'm sure this is from Costco, or I'm sorry, I forget we're in New York. This is probably fresh from the ocean right here, okay? So the best way to do it is put it on the table. There's many things that you can do with it. Honestly, this is stuffed. So there's a lot of things. What I want to start off with is taking these arms off, these little arms on the back. It helps with the eating part of it, because if you're putting your fork inside, or maybe it cooks and it cracks off, you don't want to be biting into this little piece. It's not edible, but also it could, like, get stuck in your teeth or even cause choking hazards. So this is all part of fabrication of lobster, is taking the arms off, and there could be little arms on the top too. On the bottom here is the spine, so you crack each one by one. And the reason you do that is because you want it to fold open. So spread the tail, put your knife at the back, and if you can get the first cut, you're gonna get the rest, all right? So just try to get into that lobster and then cut halfway down through, okay? See how my knife is halfway down? All right, this is the hard part, okay? This is what makes it though. This last little petal or shell part, you just gotta pierce, okay? Make it go across, okay? So that it opens up. It's flappy, all right? And then another hard part, I guess it's all intimidated, but just watch me, it's so easy. See how it comes out of the shell? See how I'm like just grabbing it delicately and just pulling it? Look, got it, see? Another part, see these tendons right here? If you cook it right now like this, it'll curl up like a shrimp, like a snail. So you get these little tendons and you pop them. Try to do it carefully though, because you want to keep the whole like the whole, like the lobster intact. You know what I mean? There's not really anything hanging, so usually there's like a little piece of lobster you can actually put inside there and kind of so that it stays. This lobster is really nice. You can see it's staying by itself. You know what I mean? I haven't done anything, because when you cook during the cooking process, it could fall over and then your presentation is gone. So what I want you to do is try to get a little piece of meat in the inside, close it up, part it, open it up again. We're gonna do one more cut here and here, and then go across. And why are we doing that? Anybody know? It's because you want it to cook all evenly. If it's one fist and then you have tails over here, a little bit piece over there, it's all gonna cook unevenly. So at this point, you can see it's nice, more and kind of flat. There's ridges where the heat will get inside and cook those fatter pieces. So what we're gonna do is just put it on top of a sheet pan, just like this, okay? Next, we're gonna put the pat of butter. Get a good pat of butter. This is a good sized lobster. We're gonna get two right there. And seasoning. So go all the way across: salt, pepper, garlic, paprika, and then fresh garlic all on top here. And then we're gonna throw it in the oven, okay guys? So when the lobster comes out of the oven, you're gonna see exactly how it's cooked, nice and pretty. And then we're gonna take it off of the shell, cut it up, put it in the shell, create that stuffing, put stuffing on top, and then you're gonna see the magic of how it looks at the end, okay? So we'll be right, folks. Hello, welcome back to Sear Sauté with Chef Clay. Got the lobster in the oven. It's gonna cook until, like I said, 75%, so we're gonna keep an eye on that. But right now we're gonna make the stuffing. What we are gonna stuff it with is, we got first garlic, some red onion, red bell peppers, right? Color and flavor. And then once that breaks down, hit it with the white wine, cream. It's gonna be a cream-based sauce. And then Parmesan, give it that cheesy flavor, fatty flavor. And then pull that lobster out of the oven and top it off, and you'll see exactly how we finish it off. But let's go ahead and start and make this this top stuffing. I'm gonna start off with some butter. And garlic. Let that cook, and then while you're doing that, you can chop up your onions and your bell peppers. Yeah, and I like to do this because like it pushes me to like, I can't let the garlic burn, so I gotta cut this onion, get everything done in time. On your dice, it's gonna be like a medium dice. It's gonna break down, but you still want some texture, a little bit of texture for this. And then for bell peppers, what I like to do is I just cut the sides of it. If you notice, cut the side of it, get that little disc out, take the white pith out, and then do a little julienne first, and then we're gonna go back across to dice. All right, so we got our vegetables. We need to get this nice and rocking. Go up to a little bit. I'm cooking at about a medium high, just under medium high. Onions, bell peppers. Seasoned salt, pepper, tiny bit of paprika. Let those flavors come together. We're gonna basically let that saute, sweat out the onion, get the caramelization on those red bell peppers, and then when we come back, we'll deglaze and then hit it with the cream and start breaking it down even more. All right, folks, so we got the nice saute, nice color on those onions and red bell peppers and garlic. Hit it with some white wine. We're gonna deglaze that pan, get all the flavor out of the pan, okay? So the alcohol, that's all the alcohol coming out of the wine first. And then as it breaks down in half, we're gonna hit it with some heavy cream. Work that in all together. All right, what I have here is just a small handful of arugula. You could use spinach, you could use any type of greens, like a traditional Oysters Rockefeller uses spinach, finished with anise to get that flavor. For this recipe, I'm just gonna use arugula. So it's gonna cook the arugula, kind of break that down as the same time the cream is gonna break down, and reduce by half and make that sauce stuffing. For cream, you wanna go down a little bit in temperature. We'll let that cook just like that. In about 1 minute, it'll be the right consistency for the sauce. All the moisture will be cooked out. But I'm gonna, in that minute, that last minute of time, I'm gonna put Parmesan. Let that melt with the cream as it finishes, so it all finishes at the same time. And then the last thing I'll do is just put a pat of butter, bring it together. So if you can see in the pan, which is cool, like it's all black, but then you see the green, the white, the red, the purple from the red onion and stuff like that. So I think, it's really important to, if you really love your food, to, make it pop to your people you're feeding first. And then, it all comes together, because you eat with your eyes, like I said, and then you eat with your mouth, and then your stomach takes care of the rest. All right, so we're perfect. I'm gonna turn off the heat. You can see it's nice and thick. I'm gonna hit it with a pat of butter. Work that in. I'll go grab the lobsters from the oven. I'm guessing they're about 75-80% cooked. Looking magnificent. All right, guys, so here we go with the lobster. You can see the color, it's not translucent anymore. And when I pull this back, the color of the lobster is still kind of that red brownish color, so it's not cooked all the way through. If it was, it would be this bright red color. So we're at a great cooking time here. I'll show you exactly what we're gonna do. Take the meat off. Put the tray over here. All right, so we'll bring the shells back. All right, guys, so with the first lobster tail, I'm gonna cut it down the middle and make little bite-sized pieces. All right, open up that shell. Okay, make sure you don't mess up the tail wings at the end. Open it up. You can see me, guys? I don't know, can you see this? All right, and then put it right back in there, okay? These are all little bite-sized pieces of lobster. But you wanna mound it, okay? Because height is a big, as far as plating goes, height is a big thing. It's part of the presentation, guys. So stuff it to where you think it's perfectly stuffed and it has some height. Oh, let's cut it up. Gotta say big shout out to Limbrook Seafood. I was in a crunch right now, and big shout out to my boy Chef Mike too, because he got me there to the seafood store and we got some fresh lobster tails. These lobster tails are beautiful. All right, so here we go, guys. This is our stuffing. We're gonna mix that all together. And then just mound it right on top. All right, and then last thing, we're going to put a little Parmesan on top. Mound that as well too, okay? Because that's gonna clump up together and make one little crust on top. So there's all kinds of textures in here. I'm gonna throw this in the oven, guys. We're gonna get that up to temperature, and we're gonna do the next part of plating up this stuffed lobster. Be right back. All right, guys, so we have the stuffed lobster out of the oven. It's nice and cooked. You can see the Parmesan nice and crusted on top, as well as our crostinis nice and toasted. To start off the plate, what we're gonna do is get some fresh kale. All right, and just put that fresh kale on the top, okay? And then we're gonna put the lobster tails to each side. Okay, and the way we set up these crostinis, I like to be funny and just make them look like, you know, lobster hands, lobster claws. Let me see if that works out as far as presentation. But this is where we are as far as the way the plate looks. Just finish it off with fresh parsley and a little bit of paprika, and that just adds color to the outside of the plate as well as finishing it off for flavor. What do you think, guys? Enjoy. Bon appetit. In Italian, they say buon appetito. And then next, the final finale is going to be our dessert. Well, what I'm going to serve is a flambé dessert. Do a little flair as a personal chef, you know, being inside someone's home. Maybe they have seen it, maybe they haven't, but what I like to do is add a little cognac to the sauteed bananas, sauteed cherries, and flambé that, make it into a cherry jubilee. It's a really, really nice dish. So come check me out on the next one. Be right back. Hello, welcome back to Sear Sauté with Chef Clay. What we're going to do is the dessert. Start off with the bananas foster. So we have these nice fresh bananas, ripe, I guess. Take the peels off. This dessert is nice because of the flame. It's a flambé, means you know, flame in French. So what we're going to do is make a nice pretty little flame, and then you're going to smell all the ingredients that I put in this, and it's going to be wonderful. For the nose, not only the eyes, but the nose. Okay, so we got the 2 ingredients: bananas, cherries. Other than that, we have sugar, butter, orange zest, cognac, alcohol, cinnamon. So what we'll start off with is put some butter. We're gonna do one at a time so we don't burn or neglect any of these desserts. Let's start off with the cherries. Sorry. Alright, so here we go with the bananas. Put the bananas in. Right here is where you're going to get some caramelization. So let's make sure those bananas are flat and in the butter, sauteing. And then we're going to put sugar. Okay. Cinnamon. Right. Let that cook. So that we're caramelizing the bananas. That natural sugar in the butter, we're gonna caramelize it and give it a really nice, beautiful crust. Let that saute for a second. We've got another pan hot. Same situation. We'll put some. Start off with the butter. Let that melt. As soon as that gets nice and nutty, we're going to throw in some cherries. Dark cherries, they're the sweeter ones. And let that saute. See if we can give these a flip. Don't go crazy, keep flipping them, because what you want is for that side with the sugar and the cinnamon to hit the bottom, and that way you'll get not only caramelization from the sugar, but more color. But not too much, just let it cook, let it do its thing. I'm just flipping them over, that's all I'm doing. That's good. And it doesn't need to be perfect, not all of them need to be flipped over. But we're sauteing, we're getting the natural sugars out, we're caramelizing this fruit. Alright, so the bananas are ready. I'm going to hit it with a little cognac. Okay, so get it away from the flame, guys. Drop some cognac, and then boom, you got some flambé. So right now that's high intense flame, that's going to caramelize that natural sugar from the bananas. And then we'll let it saute a little bit more so we get that alcohol flavor out. All that sugar though, cinnamon, it's making the sauce in there, coating those bananas. They're not the regular bananas we just cut up. I'm telling you that right now. So we'll put it to the side, let that cook. We have our cherries cooking, sauteing. Here's a trick to this also. If you're gonna cook this at home, make sure there's not too much liquid. Like especially if you're using fresh versus frozen. Your frozen cherries will add a lot of moisture to your pan. So when you add the alcohol, there's no flame because you're just making a water and cognac sauce. So let's think about this. And on the bottom, see how it's nice and dry? Nice and dry. So this is gonna be sugar, guys, sugar. Okay, good amount of sugar. And some orange zest. Okay, go ahead. Get that orange. You can see them falling on there. This is nice and good flavor. This is such good flavor with the zest right here, okay? So, and then it's ready for some cognac as well. Off the flame. Drop it in there. And there's our flame, okay? And that flame is not only to look pretty, to look fancy or whatever, but it's also caramelizing. High intensity heat to caramelize that sugar that's in that fruit. So we'll let the flame go. When the flame goes, there's no more alcohol. And then we'll let it cook just a little bit more to make that sauce and break down. Alright, perfect. Alright, the next part, we're gonna plate it up. You're gonna see exactly how this could come together and be served as dessert in a 4-star restaurant. Be right back. Alright, we're wrapping this little dinner up here. So we had the appetizer, we had the main portion, and we're gonna plate up the dessert. Right here we have the plate, and we're gonna use this for plating up. As a personal chef, you know, I'm taking plates to people in their own houses, so the last thing I want to do is make it fall. So we're gonna put a little bit of honey. It's gonna look pretty, but it's also gonna make that wine glass stay in place, okay? Start off, we're gonna get some coconut milk ice cream. This is what I like to serve because it's not gonna mess up anybody's stomach, and it also has good flavor. There's a place near my house called Sprouts that has a wonderful flavored vanilla coconut milk ice cream. It got me on it, and once I start serving it my clients, they were like, thank you. You know what I mean? I never found an ice cream that I liked. And that's something that I like to offer, honestly, like, cause ice cream is a part of life, I think, right? So here's, we got the ice cream on the bottom and ice cream in the glass. We're gonna take the bananas Foster, put that inside the cup here. And cherries Jubilee. All right, and then I'm gonna use this spoon. This is a cognac cherry sauce. You guys don't know until you taste this. And lastly, we'll put a little mint on there. We're gonna do one on top, and then more right here in the middle with the cherries. All right, so this is the finished product here. What's good about this dessert is not only is it flavorful and creamy and really explosion of flavor in the mouth, it's really beautiful, and if you cook it inside the house, you're gonna impress your guests. So thank you so much. I appreciate you watching me cook these meals. I cook these every day. I'm blessed to be a personal chef in West Texas, and if you're interested, follow me on Instagram. It's keeping it PC. That's keepingit.p.c. I'm a personal chef, Chef Clay, if you want to follow me. And if you want to hire me, I do travel. I've been to Austin, I've been to New York now, so I can cook pretty much anywhere, and I'd love to cook for you, okay? So it's been a pleasure, y'all. Thank you very much.